name is Roshan, Perera. So we had two great speakers before me. I'm not one of those great public speakers, so I'm going to stay scripted. I apologize. I'm so glad to be and honored to be here today at this Buddhist intellectual gathering, the annual forum of the New York Buddhist Council. This is the first time I'm speaking at this venerable event. I'm ever so grateful to Reverend Subodha of Temple of Enlightenment, Reverend Dion Park of New York Buddhist Council, and Ms. Sudhi-san. Thank you, and thank you for inviting me to speak. Let me share a little bit of my life with you today. I was born in Sri Lanka and grew up as a Buddhist, and if you know, Sri Lanka has gone through its trauma. We had a 30-year civil war that killed about 80,000 people, and then we had youth uprising in 89 and 88, 89 that killed about 60,000 youth, and we had a devastating tsunami in 2004, killed another 40,000, and recently, as 2019, we had the Easter bombing that killed a lot of people in churches while they were praying. So I've seen my part, my share of trauma. However, at the age of 6, I started paying homage to every important Buddhist holy site in Sri Lanka. This was thanks to my late grandmother, an ardent practitioner of Buddhism. To this day, I vividly remember myself as a child climbing Mount Sumner, or Adams Peak, a 5.5-mile out and back trail, generally considered a challenging route. I did not just climb once, but 8 times, with my grandmother holding my hands. Once on the summit, we would worship the footprints of Lord Buddha to get blessings. We would spend the cold nights on the top of the mountain and descend the next morning before the sun gets stronger. This journey was very hard back in the 70s and 80s. It was meant to show your strong devotion to Buddhist teachings and its way of life. Moving on. In 1998, I completed my higher education in Sri Lanka at University of Kelaniya, an institution well known for its Buddhist studies. In 2001, I moved to the United States to pursue an MBA, and subsequently to New York City to start working on Wall Street as an investment professional. In 2023, I experienced a life-changing event. I was just as impacted. This led me to truly seek inner peace, to be on a path of reconciliation, and to make amends with my family, victims, and the society as a whole. Today, I'm here to share my experience with this prestigious Buddhist organization gathered at Rissho, Kosei-Kai of New York in Manhattan. This year's theme is of particular interest to me: beyond boundaries, unity, diversity, and shared suffering. At first, many would be stumped. Is there any joy in shared suffering? They may look like complete opposites. How could they go hand in hand? Of course, if one takes a deep dive and practices shared suffering as a common denominator, we all living beings endure. You'll find true joy and unity in shared suffering. It leads to a compassionate mindset. It creates a level playing field. I would even call it a universal fellowship. Shared suffering is not one-sided. There is something profoundly comforting and soothing in times when we have the deepest sadness, fear, and pride, and the others can be with us and join us in on our experience. I'm constantly drawn to the Buddhist principle of non-attachment. I feel that it should be practiced not only with material things, but also in sharing our experiences and thoughts with the intention of healing the others. However, I noticed when I was growing up in Sri Lanka, the culture was that there was this hesitation to share one's thoughts and sufferings with the others. It was mainly due to the fear of being judged and reprimanded by the society. But in the US, one of the fundamental differences I noticed was how transparent and accountable the society is, and most people I met were open books. Yet, I choose only to share very limited experiences with others. I was selfish in a way, and I was not comfortable sharing my sufferings with the others. I didn't think there was any joy in sharing. I thought I was special and unique. I was egocentric in that I was looking to find solutions to my problems on my own. Just about a year ago, when I was faced with a life-altering experience, I looked to Buddhist teachings and teachers for guidance. I have associated with Buddhist monks and thought leaders my entire life, yet I was lost for answers. I knew that I had to look within while reaching out for fellowships. I found that when we share our sufferings with others, and when others share their sufferings with me, there's a common thread that connects us. And certainly there's joy at the end. With the advice of Reverend Subodha and few other senior Buddhist monks whom I respect, I was told that feeding the hungry and giving back to the community is one way of dealing with the adversity in one's life, because it is sharing the suffering on a two-way street. When you share your suffering, it also diminishes your ego. I was surprised to learn the origins of the word ego relate to the Greek concept of I, me. In June 2023, I, along with a team of volunteers, started cooking and preparing meals for the homeless shelters in Bronx. We started small and grew to feeding over 100 persons per session. We didn't know the individuals at these homeless shelters, but we knew how to recognize suffering. This common thread connects every human and living being with each other, irrespective of who they are. It was a joyous feeling and doesn't have to be a suffering in itself. Shared suffering leads to a joy and reconciliation. It balances your egocentric thinking and dilutes the self or the I-centered behavior, which helps us connect with the power of the universe and the ability to work with them to minimize or eliminate suffering to attain the mental state of nirvana. This is the time for humanity, humility, and connections. We may not be able to single-handedly stop the disastrous wars or control the outbreak of a virus, but we can control how we connect in relationships with our boundaries and create joy and compassion out of shared experience of suffering. I will conclude by saying, may you all be well and happy. Thank you. Thank you for letting me share. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very gracious. Thank you. Suffering shared, transformative can be joy, right? Very, very important. That's what we're trying to do as a Mahasangha.